This is the video going over the April 1st assignment, Composite Surface Area Exercise B. We're going to start off with question number 1. Number 1 says, John wants to paint the walls of his barn outside red. He will not paint the door or the roof. What is the surface area of the portion of the barn being painted? All right. So, as we can see, we are not going to be painting the roof or this door right here. So, these two will not have paint on them. Okay, we are only painting the outside portion, so we're talking about just the lateral surface area of just the rectangular prism. So what I'm going to write is I'm going to write lateral surface area, LSA, for a prism. Okay. Now, if we're not going to be painting the roof, we do not have to worry about this triangular prism whatsoever. So I'm just going to scratch all that out. All right. We're just worried about these lateral sides. All right, so the lateral surface area for a prism is S is equal to big P times H. Big P is the perimeter of the base. The perimeter of the base is always the base that this rectangular prism is sitting on, okay? So we can see that this side is 8, this side is 15. So that means this side right here, opposite of this 8, will also be 8. And this side back here will be 15. So 15 plus 15 plus 8 plus 8, okay? So we have 15 plus 15 plus 8 plus 8, which is equal to 46. All right, so our big P is equal to 46. Okay, now we need to find the height of the 3D shape. So if we're just looking at this rectangular prism, all right, let me erase these lines to make it a little easier. Okay, so if we're just looking at this rectangular prism, we can see that the height of the rectangular prism is 6 feet tall. All right, so we're going to do 46 times 6. So 46 times 6, we get 276. All right, so the lateral surface area for this prism is 276 meters squared. We're finding the area, so our answers are squared. All right. Okay, so that's our lateral surface area, but we have to remember we are not painting this door right here that have the dimensions of, let's see, door of the barn house has the dimensions of 5 meters wide by 4 meters tall. So we have 4 by 5, okay? So we need to find the area of this rectangle right here so we know what portion of this wall we're not painting, okay? So the area of a rectangle is length times our width. So we have 4 times 5, which we should all know is 20. Okay, so we're going to subtract 20 from our total surface area because we're not painting the doors. So 276 minus 20 is 256 meters squared that we are painting, which we can see is answer choice D for number 1. Okay. The second question, Farmers Incorporated wants to paint the silo brown. They will not paint the door or the floor. What is the surface area of the silo being painted? Okay, so we have this silo. We're not painting the floor or the door, okay? So this base down here, we're not painting it, all right? So let's use the total surface area formula for a cylinder, which is S is equal to 2 times pi times the radius times height plus 2 times pi radius squared. Now let's remember, for a cylinder, we know that the cylinder has 2 bases. All right, we have a base on the bottom and we have a base on the top. But if we read the question, it says they do not want to paint the door or the floor. So we're not painting the floor. We're only painting one of the 2 bases, all right? So if we look at this part of our formula, right here, the 2 pi radius squared, we can see that the pi radius squared is really our big B, which is our base, okay? And the 2 says we are saying we need to find the area of 2 bases. But again, when we read the question, we're not painting this base. So what we can do is we can just get rid of this 2 right here. because we are only finding one base. So if we want to, we can just put a 1. So 1 base times pi radius squared, okay? You can put 1 or you can just leave it blank, okay? So we need to find the radius height of our cylinder right now, okay? So we see that our diameter is going from side to side is 5, so half of 5, our radius is equal to 2.5. And we see our height of our silo is 14, okay? So we have 2 times pi times 2.5 times the height of 14 plus, we're dropping down this 1, times pi times the radius of 2.5 squared. All right. Remember, we're doing 1 this time because we're only painting one of the bases. We're not painting 2 bases, okay? So again, you can either have a 1 there or you can just leave it blank, okay? So in the calculator, we'll do 2 times pi times our radius of 2.5 times our height, which is 14. Make sure I have that right. 14. We hit enter. Here's our first part is 219.9 tenths, or and 9 tenths, okay? Then our second part, usually we would hit 2 times pi r squared, right? So here's what we would usually do, and our radius is 2.5. Oops, 2.5 squared. This is what we would usually put right here, okay? But again, this 2 represents 2 bases, so what we can do is just leave it out, all right? So we can either put 1 here, we can say 1 times since we're only doing 1 base, or we can just leave it out. Let's just find big B. Big B is equal to 19 and 6 tenths, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to add these two numbers, and we get 239 and 5 tenths. 239 and 9 tenths. Or 5 tenths, my bad. And 5 tenths. Okay. All right, and we're talking meters squared since it's area, okay? So we have our surface area of our cylinder, but now we need to find the area of this door, okay? So the area of the door, the dimensions of the door are 3 meters wide. So it's 3 meters wide, and it's 5 meters tall. To find the area of a rectangle, we do length times width, which is 3 times 5, which is 15, okay? So we're going to subtract 15 from our final total. So we should get, let's see, 224 meters squared, or in 5 tenths meters squared, which is answer choice B, is for number 2. We're going to move on to question 3. Number 3 says Molly wants to paint the outside walls and roof to this house. She needs to calculate how much paint to buy. She will not paint the door or the windows since they will be glass. The windows are 2 by 2 feet. The door is 3 by 8 feet. How much paint does she need? All right. So if we want, let's go ahead and find our 2D shapes. We have these windows, which are 2 by 2s. Okay. So these windows are 2 by 2s. So we have 2 and 2, 2 and 2. So to find the area of these squares, we're going to do length times width, which is 2 by times 2, which is 4 and 4. Okay. And the door right here is 3 by 8. 3 by 8. So to find the area of the door, we do 8 times 3, which is 24. Okay, so let's write these numbers over here. So we have 24 plus 4 plus 4. Okay? Sorry. So we have 2. So we have 32, let's see, feet squared that we are not painting. This is no paint. Okay? So whenever we find the total surface area of this this rectangular prism, we need to make sure we subtract 32 from it. All right? So let's go ahead and find the rectangular prism now. We're going to find the total surface area of this prism. Now, we are not painting the floor, okay? We can't paint the floor of this house, okay? Or we're not painting the underneath of the house, okay? So we're not painting this bottom base. So if we're not painting one of the bases and we have two bases, so here's our total surface area formula. P times H plus 2 times big B. Again, here we have two bases, but we're not painting this base. We're only painting one of the bases, so we can change this 2 into a 1, okay? So we have P times H plus 1 base, all right? So we got to find P, B, and H, all right? So P stands for the perimeter of the base, so we can see our bases down here. We have 15 here. We have 15 here, okay? So if we have 15 here, we have 15 in the back. If we have 15 on the side, we also have 15 on the side, all right? So we're doing 15 plus 15 plus 15 plus 15, which is equal to 60. So our perimeter is 60. Our big B is the area of our base, which is length times the width, right? So we have 15 times 15, and 15 times 15 is 225, all right? And now we need the height of our rectangular prism, which we can see is 10. 10 is going up and down, all right? So we have 10. All right, since we have all our letters, we're going to plug them in. So we have 60 for our perimeter times the height of 10 plus, remember, we're only painting one base, so we'll just leave this blank, or we could put the 1, it does not matter, okay? We just need to make sure we do plus B, which is 225. If you think about it, 1 times 225 is 225. So we're doing 60 times 10 plus 225. So 60 times 10 plus 225. And we get 825 feet squared, okay? But we have to remember, we're subtracting 825 by 32. We have to subtract this 32 from our total surface area because we're not painting the windows or the door. So 825 minus 32 is equal to 793 feet squared, which is answer choice C. Okay, the last question. The last question says, how much cardboard was used to make the cardboard box below? All right, so we have two 3D shapes. Let me draw those out real quick. All right, so I went ahead and I drew out our 3D shapes off to the side. So we have our triangular prism, which is on top over here, and we have our rectangular prism, which I drew over here. Okay, we're going to ignore this cardboard door right now. Okay, we're going to ignore that for right now. We're just worried about the 3D shapes. So let's work with this triangular prism first. Okay, so with this triangular prism, our surface area formula, we can find the total surface area. So we have big P times H plus 2 times big B. Okay, so our perimeter for this one, we need to find the perimeter, we need to find the base, and the height. So now again, let's go back now. Let's go find the perimeter of the base. When we talk about the perimeter of the base for a triangular prism, it's always the shape that's a triangle. So our triangles are on the sides. Our bases are on the sides, okay? So we have a base in the front, and we have a base in the back, all right? So let's worry about the front one. We can see that the side lengths from back here are 32. So we have 32, this side's 32, and our base is 60. Okay, so let's go add all those numbers up real quick. So 32 plus 32 plus 60 is equal to 124. Okay, so our perimeter is 124. Okay, our 3D height of our image. So we see we have a base in the front and we have a base in the back, and they are 60 centimeters away from each other. Okay, so our height is 60. Now let's find the area of the base. The area formula for a triangle, again, is 1/2 times the base of the triangle times the height. Okay, so if we look at just this triangle, we're ignoring everything over here. We're just looking at this triangle right here. we can see that our base of this triangle is 60, and the height of just this triangle is 25. All right, so we have 60 times 25, or multiplying everything by 1/2. All right, so let's go plug that into our calculator real quick. Control divide, 1/2 times 60 times 25. We get 750. All right, so big B is 750. All right. Now that we have all of our letters, let's go plug them into our formula. Okay. So we have 124 for our perimeter times our height, which is 60, plus 2 times our big B, which is 750. Okay. Let's go plug this all in. 124 times our 60 plus 2 times 750. We get 8,940. All right. All right. So here comes the tricky part. All right. So for our box, we want to be able. Let's say this is a cardboard fort. Okay. If you want to go inside and stand up all the way up, we have this rectangle right here that's blocking our way from standing all the way up. So our heads can be all the way up here in this triangular prism. Okay. So we have this rectangle blocking our way made out of cardboard. So what we need to do is we need to find the area of this rectangle, and we need to subtract it from this number. All right. So we can see that this rectangle is a 60 by 60 squared. Okay. So let's go see what 60 times 60 is real quick for the area of that rectangle. So we have 60 times 60, which is equal to 3,600. All right. So with this number right here, we're going to subtract 3,600. And what we get is 5,340. That is the total surface area for the triangular prism. All right, so now that we have our triangular prism, let's go ahead and find our rectangular prism. All right, so the surface area formula for prism, our rectangular prism, is the same thing as S is equal to perimeter times height plus 2 times the base. Now let's think about it this way. Just like we did right here, we subtracted this base, which was blocking us from going up. If we think about it, we still have this base up here, right? Let me outline it. We still have this base up here if we find the total, right? So if we have a base on the bottom, which is made out of cardboard that we need to stand on, but to stand up, we don't need this base, let's eliminate this base. So like we did in previous problems, instead of 2 times the base, let's just do times or plus 1 base, right? So our new formula is going to look like P times H plus B, or 1 times B, okay? It doesn't matter. We just need 1 base. We need to know the area of 1 base, okay? So let's find perimeter, the area of the base, and the height, okay? So the perimeter of the base, we see that this side is 60, this side is 60, this side is 60, and that side is 60. So we can do 60 plus 60 plus 60 plus 60 is equal to 240. So our perimeter is 240. The area of the base, we're doing length, which is 60, times our width, which is also 60, which is equal to 3,600. Okay? And the height of our 3D rectangular prism is 50. From the top base to the bottom base, they are 50 centimeters apart. Okay? Now that we have all of our letters, let's go ahead and plug them in. So we have 240 for the perimeter times our height of 50 plus our big B, which is 3,600. All right. 240. times 50, our height, plus the area of the base, which is 3,600. We get 1,506, or 15,600, my bad. So we get 15,600. All right. So that is the surface area of the rectangular prism. Our last step is to find this door now. We can see that this door that we cut out of cardboard is a 40 by 40 square. Okay. So to find the area of the square, it is our length, which is 40, times our width, which is also 40. Which is also 40. So 40 times 40 is 16 or 1,600. All right. So let's wrap this problem up. We have our total surface area of our rectangular prism and our total surface area of our triangular prism. We are going to add these two up. Okay. So we have 1,500 or 15,600 plus 5,340. Okay. When we add these up, we get 20,940. All right. But now we need to subtract the 1,600. Okay. So we're subtracting 1,600. That's bad color writing. We're subtracting 1,600. Okay. When we subtract that, we get 0, 4, 3, change this to a 10, 9, 1, 19,340 centimeters squared, which is answer choice A. All right. This was a big question and had a lot of information in it. All right. So that wraps up the April 1st assignment over composite surface area, exercise B. If you need to do the redo assignment, go ahead and click on that